once I decided I'm going to do the YouTube channel and I got out of my way, stopped feeling embarrassed and just posted the video, everything got easier after that. So my biggest obstacles they haven't been outside of myself. I have been my biggest issue.
Let me tell you this conversation was made for me today because I am being my own biggest obstacle in this very moment. So thank you for that reassurance. What's going on, everybody? This is Abby with another episode of Modern Day Unicorns. Today I have Elle with me, and she is an anomaly all in herself. I always have very special guests, but Elle is an entrepreneur and educator. She got a lot going on, and I'm going to let her explain words. So Elle, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having. Yeah, I do have a lot going on.
It's a pleasure. So we're gonna dive right into it, right? Can you tell us more about yourself, where you're from, and what you're currently doing?
Okay. So born and raised in Prentiss, Mississippi, relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, was there for 6 years before moving to Dubai. And I've been here for almost 5 years now. Since I've been here, well, I came here for a teaching opportunity. And that's just opened doors for more things. So now, not only am I an international educator, but I am an author now. I am a consultant for other authors for up and coming authors who want to get their work out there. I am also a new travel business owner as well.
Congratulations to you. Now, I'm from Georgia myself, and anybody that's been in Georgia, even though you're not from there, we always ask, what part of Atlanta are you? Where did you reside in?
Cumberland, the entire time I was there, I was in the Cumberland area. I have to say Cumberland because it's the city of Atlanta, but it's Cobb County, is that part.
I'm from over there too, so technically I'm from Marietta, but we all say Atlanta just in case they don't know what they're talking about. So I got you, Cumberland Mall, Cobb County, we all have been there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's dope. So what type of educator are you? So a lot of us educators who are abroad, especially in the UAE, we started off with certain. Let me rephrase. You're an educator. I would like to know how you began your international education, like venture.
Okay. So I was in Atlanta, and my principal at the time, I was in school leadership. The principal at my school, she was like, I've heard about these teaching opportunities overseas, and you're young, you don't have any kids, you're not married, this is a great time for you to go and do something like that. I think it would be a great experience. And not very often do you hear principals telling one of the teachers, especially in leadership, hey, I think you should, try to do this because I think you'll be a good fit for it. She was one of those principals that really looked out for the teachers that worked under her. So she wasn't trying to work you to death. It was the opposite. She'd be like, hey, don't come up here over the holiday. I was that chick. I was that teacher working on the holidays. She's like, don't come up here on the holidays. Enjoy your time off. So she put it in my head one year, but I was afraid to make the move. I was scared, and I was like, put my application out there, but I didn't really push it. I got emails, but I was like, nah, I'm okay. The next year came around, and I experienced teacher burnout. And this wasn't the first teacher burnout. It was the second teacher burnout that I had experienced. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance. And they were actually recruiting in Atlanta. I applied. Well, I didn't have to do much applying because my application was already there. My references were already in the system. I just clicked and said, okay, I want to apply for these jobs for this school term. They emailed me back and said, hey, we'll be in Atlanta on this date. Come for an interview. And the rest is pretty much history.
Ask us, what subject or grade level do you like or prefer?
Well, here I teach grade 12. That's what I do prefer, grade 12 English. Before, I never taught even high school. I taught everything but high school. I taught pre-K, first grade, sixth grade, eighth grade. And I came over here and they said, well, you're American, you're going to teach high school English.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so you're in Dubai currently, correct?
Yes, I live in Dubai. I do not work in this emirate, but I live in this emirate.
Okay, that's really cool. So I'm intrigued by your story because so many of us mirror the same situation. We come abroad and I'm going to assume that now you have the opportunity, the flexibility, the mind frame to be able to venture out and try different things. So what happened for me was I, not having to pay rent, had a little extra money to buy some camera equipment, and things have evolved ever since. So tell us more about, you transitioning. Now you've been overseas for 5 years, maybe what's keeping you here and how you were able to sprout out and do a couple other things.
Okay. So to be quite honest with you, at first I was just focused on the job, just focused on the job. Then I started traveling a little bit. And people back home where I'm from in Mississippi, they're like, how are you able to go to these places? Like, what do you do? I'm a teacher. Nah, this is not the lifestyle of a teacher. And so people just started asking me questions, asking me about what you're doing. You should put it in the book. You should start a YouTube channel. So it was really everyone else pushing me to do what I really always wanted to do, but was just not confident enough to do. So just posting my travels and people messaging me saying, hey, try this, try that. And then eventually I experienced teacher burnout number 3. And there was that moment that I realized, okay, this is your third time experiencing this. Let's turn that passion into your career. And so that's when I decided, you've been waiting to write this book. Go ahead and write this book now. You've been waiting to start this YouTube channel. Go ahead and start this YouTube channel. And all of this happened during the pandemic, to be honest. I was pregnant in a pandemic, locked in a house. So anxiety and mind is all the way up to here for someone who's used to traveling. So I said, if I can't get out of the house, let me at least get out of my head. And the creative juices just kind of started flowing, and it's just been, nonstop ever since.
So tell us about your book and the process of, from writing it to publishing it. What was that like, especially within a pandemic?
Well, the ideas were there, but it was just a matter of putting on paper. And like I said, I was pregnant during the pandemic, and I gave birth during the pandemic. And what better thing to write about than a woman who moves abroad, leaves her family, has a child who, my husband is not American. So this is kind of a unique story. People are interested. They're asking questions. Let me put it in the book. And so the title of the book is Zacky's Wacky World, and it's based on the life of my child, Zacky, and his upbringing. So this is the book. So it's based on his life and his experiences as a child being brought up in these multiple cultures. And one thing that is very important to me as an Afro-American is identity. It's something that is constant and consistent. As a Black American, most of us go through it. I say most because some people just don't. People have different lived experiences. So I wanted to create something that not only promotes my culture as an Afro-American, but my husband's culture and an appreciation for it. So that's what my book does. It teaches children first of all, it teaches them to be curious about who they are and where they're from. And then the goal is to make sure that they love who they are and where they're from. At the end of it all, everyone is special. Every child is special. And just, it's a family. It's a book for family. So although it's written for children, it's really a book for the entire family. I include activities, family tree activities, vocabulary. I am a teacher.
I'm not saying that sounds so teacher.
So we have the glossary. We have Zacky's wacky words. They're challenging. They're challenging words, even for the parents. But the whole idea is to increase the vocabulary of the child and the parents. And that's really the goal and the basis of the book.
And I love that, because one thing that happens when teachers are able to create and provide resources for students or even their own children, they get to bring so many different things out. So a lot of times we're not seeing books that are created that includes, children that has, 3-4 cultures or vocabulary. Like nobody thinks to like vocabulary words within it and being able to include the family, like all the things that we want. Teachers can provide so much, but once again, for burnout or lack of time or resources, that we're not able to get those creative juices out in the world. And I believe the pandemic did give us the opportunity to have time enough to process certain things, even though we had no idea what was going on. But I think it unlocked a lot of the fire and the passion that many people had to say, hey, if this pandemic don't take me out, at least I know I can try something. And so I commend you for, taking those various leaps of faith, being able to produce, your children's book. And I'm pretty sure you got more in the chamber there. And then you were talking about a few other things that you're able to, I guess, get kickstarted or at least venture off into. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I started my YouTube channel. And the crazy thing, and it's about the basics, it's a lifestyle and travel channel. And I have been sitting on videos for a while, but it wasn't until the pandemic that I had time to sit down and edit. Because editing it's a task.
I know all about it.
I know you do. I know you do. And I have a background, mass communications is my background. I worked in television for 4 years, editing. So I do have a passion for it. So for someone who's, has experience with it and actually loves doing it, it was still a daunting task when you're working a full-time job. Well, the pandemic sat me down and the baby sat me down and I had to find something to do. So I pulled out videos that were just sitting there a year prior from all of my travels, start editing it, pushing it out. And people are like, how are you traveling during the pandemic? I'm not. But you're going to get this information. And so, I just started editing I had a year's worth of material that I was editing and putting out. And next thing you know, 6 months later, I'm monetized on YouTube. I have over 1,000 subscribers and now I'm monetized and I'm able to basically turn my passion into a paycheck.
Well done. Well done. I'm still working to get towards it, but shout out to you for reaching over that hump. And one of the things that I want to bring out is, I love editing, and now I'm on this journey on teaching other people how not only to create content, but also learning like various elements of how they can repurpose certain situations or even create new things. But one of the things that I really enjoy is repurposing and reusing content and materials from be it yesterday, 5 years ago, whenever, even if it's taking somebody else's with permission or whatever material and being able to create something new and different. Like that, like it's a skill set to be able to have the mindset to say, okay, this is what I want to communicate, and I can use this media to be able to portray it to my audience. So shout out to you for being able to recognize that I have all of this material that I can essentially repurpose, because I think what happens is a lot of times we're just taking out our phone for no reason. And it's fine. We're just taking this picture because everybody else got this picture, or this video because it was popular for everybody else. But it serves no real purpose for us at that time. But what happens is when you at least have a goal or you have a mind frame of what you want to do, now you can take that material and say, maybe I wish I would have done a little bit different if I knew better. But now I can put a message to this content and give it out to the world. And thus, of course, the growth on YouTube is all a part of that, for you being able to put together a story to say, this is what's going on. This is a time frame, but I'm happy that you all are enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pretty cool experience.
Now, you're turning another passion into another means of income. So you've been able to share, your stories via books. Now you are sharing on YouTube. And now you're putting together experiences for people. Tell us about, is it a travel agency?
So someone did approach me about starting my own travel business, which is tied to a major company that supports travelers and travel agents, so to speak, to kind of push them to start their own travel business. So that is one part of it, but I am also curating experiences for people outside of the agency, kind of creating my own. One other thing that I did was start my entertainment and travel company, which is Elle's Adventures, LLC. And so I'm going to be basically creating adventures and experiences beyond the other platform. Because to be honest with you, with the travel agency, that's good for stateside adventures. But when we're going internationally, there's only so much you can do with a travel agency. And what my separate business is going to be doing is those international experiences for groups of people, for couples, for individuals who want to explore outside and don't have those connects. As international travelers and educators, we're able to build those connections with people when we're traveling in these different locations that a major company just simply can't do. They don't have that. So I do have my travel business, and I am also associated with the travel agency, which is, like I said, more useful for me stateside.
And that's amazing. So I just want to bring out the point that you said a trigger word for me, right? So you said adventures, and I recently came back from Socotra. And so that was a whole situation, which I enjoyed. But one of the things I said I would do moving forward is definitely determine if I'm going to have a vacation, an adventure, or an adventurecation. So that just, I was just like, ooh. And hopefully adventure got a little bit of a, relaxation in there, whatever you're putting together. But that's an amazing thing to do, because people like me, I'm just the tell me how much it is and swipe the card person, versus somebody's just like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. And I'm just like, I don't really care what we do. I'm here to, eat good food and see some sunsets. That's all I'm really here for. But that's so that's great. So am I correct in assuming that your ability to come over here and travel is what helped you kind of pursue that a little bit more?
Yes, yes. And people saying, hey, you need to do this.
People won't push you to do some stuff, won't they?
They will. They will. You need to try this. I'm like, you'll be good at this. Now, one of my friends is like, you need to start a class. So that's next on the agenda.
Okay. And that's great, because it is, I'm sure you've had this as well. A number of people saying, I'm living vicariously through you. And I'm just like, thank you. I mean, maybe it's something that you could do, or even if it's a smaller experience, maybe something where you can travel. But it is a pleasure to be able to show and document different things that many people won't have the opportunity to do within their lifetime. So I commend you for being able to curate that for them, and also give them the opportunity to hop on it. Because I think, yeah, everybody's like, I'm outside now. Like the pandemic, the 2020 is over, and I'm going wherever I can go. Whenever I can get, there people out there quitting their jobs and all types of stuff to just to be able to get some time off. So
yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, outside of, well, you told us a few things outside of, the pandemic and a new baby and everything else, but like, what are some of the challenges that you had to overcome with some of your ventures? Like, how did you overcome some of those obstacles and hurdles to be able to produce what you produce? Like, you have a published book, you have your business, you have a YouTube channel. Could you give us an example of something like that?
Obstacles. My biggest obstacle, honestly, things have been easy outside of myself, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest obstacle has been right here, not feeling like I'm good enough to make these things happen, not feeling confident. That has been my biggest obstacle, to get out of my head. Honestly, because everything else came easily. I'm not going to lie to you. With YouTube, I started with my phone. At first, it's not going to be okay. It's not going to be right. The average person sitting watching YouTube, they don't care about what kind of camera you're using. It was just me being a perfectionist. And sometimes being perfectionist is cool, but sometimes it can kind of hold you back. What else? With my book, no one's going to read my book. Who am I? But finally getting out of my head and saying, you know what, just try it and see what happens. Put the word out there. And I was supported by so many people that I never even, knew was even watching me or knew wanted this information. It was so crazy. What else? YouTube channel, the book, my classes. Like I said, I have people telling me to do that. I have people reaching out, asking, hey, can you help me publish my book? Because I've done that. At this point, I've done 3. I've had 3 clients who I've helped get published in the last year too. So that's exciting. The biggest hurdle has been getting out of my own head and just doing it. That's the fear. That's the fear. Failure. Fearing that you're going to fail. And it's so crazy because when you're afraid to fail, then you're essentially doing just that. You're failing, you know? When you're not doing it, you're essentially doing that. So I just had to look fear in the face and say, you know what? Either you're going to do it or you're not. If you don't try, then you're still not doing it. So just scared or not, just do it. And that's hard. It sounds simple, but it's very difficult to get out of your own way. I swear. But everything, I can't say that I've had that many obstacles because once I sat down and started doing the work, it just came. The book, once I got out of my own head and put the ideas on the paper, my book was laid out in a week, and then the rest was just editing and illustrations and things like that. Once I decided I'm going to do the YouTube channel and I got out of my way, stopped feeling embarrassed and just posted the video, everything got easier after that. So my biggest obstacles they haven't been outside of myself. I have been my biggest issue.
Let me tell you, this conversation was made for me today because I am being my own biggest obstacle in this very moment. So thank you for that reassurance.
God, we have to get out of our own heads.
Most mercy. I want to thank you for the time that you spent with me so far. And before I let you go, I definitely want to get some more gems out of you, like 3 tips that you can give for anybody aspiring to try something new or whatever is on your heart. What would you share with these individuals?
The first thing I would say is find your passion. What is it that you love to do? The second thing is find your skill, because your passion and your skill are not always the same thing. I love movie creating. That doesn't mean that I'm a good writer. Maybe I'm a good critic. Maybe I'm a good director, you know? So find your passion, find your skill, and find people around you, you know, in that same arena who can contribute to you as well as you contribute to them. I want to write some scripts. I want to do movie creation. I'm a great director. Let me find a great writer that needs someone, you know, to direct. We can help one another that way. Then basically, that's pretty much it. Find your passion, find your skill, find your support system, and make it happen at the end of the day. And it may not be something in the arts, whatever it is, any career path, whether it's being a teacher, a YouTuber, a writer, movie creator, whatever it is, find your passion in it, your purpose, your skill set, and your team, your crew, and just make it happen. And sometimes your crew can just start with you. As a matter of fact, your first member should be you. Get out of your head, like I said before, and just do it. Just do it.
Those are wonderful tips. Thank you so much for that. Now, before we go, can you please share all of the places and spaces that people can find you, support you, follow you, buy your book, book a travel? What are those things that we can connect with you today?
Awesome. So, of course, you can find me on YouTube, Elle_just_living. You can find me at the same name on Instagram, on TikTok. My website is www.elljustliving.com. Facebook, Elle's Adventures. My email address for travel, Elle's Adventures LLC @gmail.com. You can find me there. If you inbox me on any of those platforms, I'll reply.
That's amazing, folks. Make sure you go and pay attention. There's something there for you to all to connect with and share with your friends and family. Elle, thank you so much once again for joining us on Modern Day Unicorns. If you are a unicorn, you know somebody else that is, feel free to message or DM me or comment on whatever post that we have below. And until next time, we will see you.
Bye. Thank you.